So right here we have this absolute god squad of a 7-star rank 1 Gore, a 7-star rank 1 Venom the Duck, and then we have the main event here. We have rank 5 6-star Gladiator, who is unascended, by the way. So yeah, this is just Gladiator's show. And he, might not be the best option for like all these fights, but he just does them all really, really well. And yeah, he's going to clear the entire left side by himself, including Hulkling and the Spider-Ham final boss. So yeah, this man's a beast. I think he's such a great champion now. And like doing this at a rank 5 6-star level, which is, very, obtainable for pretty much anyone. It's just a really nice thing, right? And this whole like gauntlet has been a pretty fun experience. Was it difficult? Not necessarily. Maybe the abs man, because it's the abs man and like he was broken on release, but even like he was kind of tolerable because you can use a science champion to beat him. So yeah, like this wasn't really like anything too crazy. But yeah, Aegon right here, game plan, I already said it before, but you just want to make sure that whenever you're about to get your 3rd cement charge, you want to drop a special attack like during it so you don't get rooted, and then just don't block, utilize your heavy attack stun, and you're unblockable, and then you're just chilling. And like rank 5 6-star Gladiator still has some pretty great damage output, to be honest. Like this man, yeah, he's just a good damage dealer, just simple as that. The buff did affect his damage output big time because it went from like 3% attack per confidence to about 5% attack. So it does help a ton given that he stacks a ton of confidence, and like having a bonus 2% attack rating per confidence, that's just massive, right? And that's why he's doing so good right now. Of course, there's more things that make him insane. For example, like his Intimidate being a passive. If his Intimidate wasn't passive, he couldn't do this fight. Like, he couldn't do it that good because of Clean Slate, but since he does have that passive Intimidate now, he does his fight really easily. So it's like, okay, this is just, perfect for Gladiator. This, like, honestly, is like a perfect Gladiator fight. So yeah, this man's just crushing it. And here we go for a heavy attack again. He drops the SP2. We get some bonus damage here. No, we don't. We have to play it safe because if I tried to hit him, I was rooted and he could just retaliate. So yeah, I couldn't do anything there, but we're chilling. We go back in. We're unblockable, so that's just fun. And yeah, he's going to drop the SP2 now, I believe, like very soon. And yeah, once he does that, we go in on that second hit, get that 18,000 burst damage, and yeah, this guy is just killing it so far. And we dropped the SP2, like I said, decent numbers even without the incinerates, but like he is an incinerate DPS, so it does affect him a bit. But also that physical burst damage, or like that burst damage is, yeah, doing pretty good work as well. And that's why like he's so good despite not having his debuffs, because he doesn't really need debuffs anymore since he has that burst damage and he also has like the passive Intimidate. It's great, man. It's great. So here I dropped the SP2 to end the fight, and there is the first fight done, and that was about 3 minutes for a rank 5 unascended and unboosted Gladiator. Not too bad at all. Now we have the Standing Moonstar fight, and this one I played it kind of safe. I didn't go for like that, the 3 hits into the special attack. I know you can do that, but like I just didn't want to risk it because I'm using a very, I guess, flimsy Gladiator. Though to be honest, Gladiator, when he's at 25 of his confidence, or like 29 here in this case, he is super tanky because people don't realize this, but confidence increases attack rating and armor rating. So I don't know if like it straight up scales to 125% armor rating, but that's honestly kind of nuts if it does, because that's like over 100%. So this man like hardly takes damage output when he's at max confidence, and it stacks up to like what, 33 confidence actually, so that can be over 150% armor rating. It's kind of nutty, man, and it's honestly super cool because, yeah, he's supposed to feel like that. Like, when you're super confident with Gladiator, I would expect to, like, not take that much damage, so it does make sense. And, yeah, we go back in here, and he is just crushing it, because here we have our incinerates, thankfully, and those of course carry us big time. I think they are his best damage source. Maybe the physical burst damage does a bit more in this fight, but like usually it is the incinerates. And yeah, we drop the relic, and then we go back in again into the heavy attack for our another. I was about to say for our second SP2, but I didn't know if it was our second SP2 or not, so I just said another, but I said R and then another, so I was like R another. Anyway, we're chilling, go back in. That was not the second SP2. I've dropped so many in this fight already because, yeah, it's a rank 5 6-star Gladiator. It's gonna take a lot of SP2s. Well, actually, not that many, because like the damage output's good, of course. It's like it's Gladiator, so he's a pretty strong DPS now, but like it's a 1 million health Danny Moonstar. It'll take most champions multiple SP2s. And yeah, there we go again. Go back in, get the hits going, and we are just looking really good here. And yeah, the fight is about to be done. One more heavy attack into the SP1 perhaps. No, just the relic. We're chilling. And yeah, there we go. Not too shabby in the slightest. That was 2 minutes. 1 million health, 2 minutes. That's really good, right? That's just really good. Now we have this one, and this one's like an endurance matchup because, yeah, Hulkling in this fight, you can't do your damage in the normal ways. You have to like rely on hitting his block with a special attack, and that means no incinerates, it means no burst damage. It's a bit of an endurance one, and it honestly is pretty annoying, but Gladiator is pretty good for it because he he has bonus attack rating, which is of course useful, and he also has access to Intimidate, which lowers block efficiency. So yeah, I think he is pretty well suited for this matchup, especially given that with the heavy attack stun, Make a Stand is pretty much relevant in this fight. So yeah, he's honestly one of the better options for this matchup, and he does it really well. It's not like the fastest, but to be honest, not many champions do this fight really fast. Only a few of them do it like incredibly fast, and I think most of them at like a rank 5 6-star level aren't gonna do it like super fast anyway. So yeah, here I missed the heavy attack, which is amazing, but we're chilling. I go back in here, drop my heavy attack, and I have to wait out the unblockable, which I don't because I'm a Muppet. And yeah, we're just gonna drop the SP2 here, does some pretty nice damage, and we stun him, but we have to wait it out because there's no reason to attack him right there. Gets some more damage with our basic hits. Now, this is a bit odd because I don't know why our basic hits are doing that much damage, because this has power shield. So, like, the block damage on the basic shouldn't be like that much, but they are. And it's pretty sweet. I don't know why it's happening, but I'll take it. Here I drop an SP2 again. Yeah, some pretty great damage there, as per usual. And yeah, looking so good here. I was gonna say so far so good, but no, let's just skip the so far part. But yeah, it's just an endurance matchup, and this is like an endurance commentary, but we're fine. There really isn't much to it here. Once you get the rhythm, it really is a pretty straightforward fight. It just, has a lot of health, and you can't do normal damage, so it's like, oof, you gotta be patient. And also, okay, watch out for that. So there's this thing called like the Parry of Doom. Back when like Hyperion was a common defender, this was like his thing where like you would try to bait out his like special attack, right? But then you end up parrying him on accident, and then that stuns him, he SP3s you, and then you just lose everything, right? In this case, if you try to bait out a special attack and accidentally parry him, you take a boatload of damage, like right there. So, yeah, watch out for the Parry of Doom. Do not go for a parry, and watch out for the accidental parry, because, when I did those two parries, I thought I didn't parry, but apparently I did. So it's like, okay, man, it's hard to avoid doing it. You just have to, like, I guess, dex better than usual, which makes zero sense, but I'm sorry, that's, like, the best way to explain it. But, yeah, watch out for that, because if you take too much of those, you won't survive for much longer. But you're fine, just don't do it, like, more than 3 times, because if you do it a 3rd time, he goes unblockable, and that can just mess a ton of things up. But, yeah, besides that, I think this fight is pretty straightforward. It's just that Parry of Doom is always really annoying to deal with. And yeah, the unblockable is up, which is not good for us right now, but this damage output is pretty sweet at least. He drops the SP2, and we're looking very good here. Just gotta finish it real quick. Indestructible's up, Doesn't matter. We're about to go back in, drop a heavy attack to dismiss that make a stand. And here we go. The last SP2, and this should do it. Just kidding. 1%. Let's go. That's amazing. And yeah, he goes indestructible, which is so fun. But then that finally does it. Pretty slow matchup. Actually, no, it wasn't. That was only like, that was not even 4 minutes. So not even bad for a rank 5 6-star character. And last but not least, we have the Spider-Ham fight. This one is something else, man. It's so weird because you just dismiss everything. Anything about Gladiator that you like, you know, usually like utilize with him, just take it away. Actually, no, because you do utilize his confidence and also his burst damage on the special attack, so there is that you still use, but everything else is all about strategy here. Because Turn the Tide and this other node were like, when you drop a special attack, you reflect power sting damage onto the opponent, right? However, you have to make sure that you have at least 3 debuffs on you, and it can't be 2 taunts, because if it's the taunt from his SP1 and his evade, your attack will be lower than 50%, and that means that your damage reflection is going to get capped at 50% as well, so you'll still take power sting damage. However, if it's like 2 power stings and 1 taunt, that's like a 40% potency, you'll still reflect all the damage and it'll just crush Spider-Ham. So that's the game plan, and of course, make sure that the special attack you're throwing is correspondent to Turn the Tide, because you have to do that, because if you don't do it, you lose all your ability accuracy and then you still take the power sting damage, so just be careful there. And yeah, look at that, power sting damage reflected, and we are just chilling here. Yeah, it's a weird matchup. It's honestly really fun, but also kind of annoying because, like, you know, the first 2 matchups are just Gladiator doing Gladiator things, having, you know, great access to the Intimidate, the passive abilities and all that. But then Hulkling is like, okay, less Gladiator, more about just, you know, a generic fight, but he still has to utilize like some important things. For example, his heavy attack stun, the passive Intimidate, and like, you know, the extra block penetration. But then there's this fight that's just like, okay, good luck. It's just like, do your best, and if you fail, you fail, and it is what it is, right? But yeah, like this matchup isn't that bad once you learn it, and it can be done with like essentially anyone. Gladiator does have a bit of an edge over most people because of his cold snap and having access to, like, you know, that physical burst damage to just have an extra, like, you know, safety net for more damage output. And yeah, the cold snap is up, he can't evade, so we're chilling, and things are looking pretty good for us right here. Yeah, the burst damage is still doing pretty great numbers, and it's helping us a ton in this matchup. It's like, you know, some bonus, right? Like the main damage output source is the reflection of the power stings, but hey, we still take any damage that we can get, right? So yeah, the SP1 is helpful. The burst damage is also pretty helpful. And you want to know what isn't helpful? Spider-Ham's terrible AI right now. However, okay, another thing that Gladiator has over most people is this right here. So the Unstoppable reduces his damage output like a lot, right? So if that was like most champions, they would get nuked by the SP2. But Gladiator took hardly any damage from it because whenever he is unstoppable, special attacks do like, what, 80% less damage? So yeah, that's honestly a pretty nice bonus for Gladiator right there. And there I get evaded, no big deal. I just wait it out, go back in, and this matchup is almost over, but he just does not play ball for some reason. He is being so stingy. And it's like, okay, 2%, just come on, just drop the special one, please. And like, I just don't want to fumble this right now because like 1 hit and I'm done. So I'm just like, come on, Spider-Ham, just please, just drop it. There, he drops it, and that is that. So yeah, very fun matchup, and Gladiator just took, you know, the entire left side by himself. Honestly, pretty sweet. Yeah, love your thoughts on Gladiator. I want to post more buffed gameplay. Maybe when he's a certain rank, not gonna spoil anything, but I might be looking into that. And yeah, that's about it for me.